So this is real important right here. A lot of the interactions that go good for me are the interactions where the approach is just not awkward, it's authentic. And one of the best ways to make the approach authentic is to not walk up like the Terminator. If you see the way that I approach her is I kind of almost spin into her. So many guys they walk up with a serious face and they're nervous, they got anxiety, and it kills a lot of the sexual vibe that you can have, and it just makes the girl nervous. Therefore, her defenses are up. So in this little bit right here is I approach her, and she had very long, beautiful hair. And I actually on the dance floor, I actually told her, "Hey, I like your hair," and she's like, "I like yours too." And when I go up to her this time and I say, "Hey, what's the story on your hair?" She kind of gives me a little bit of a shit test slash resistance and is like, "There's no story on my hair." But I keep on going and I still keep pushing the conversation. And I ignore the shit test and I still hold my frame and keep continuing the interaction. Do I want to make this quick little bit? Do not be afraid to get in a girl's space. Look how close she is to me, and look how, comfortable she is with my face close to hers. Now, this is one of my favorite scenes because this is pivotal in game. Right here, I actually guess her nationality. I guess that she's Italian, just based on her skin complexion, her long dark hair. I guess that she's Italian. And shout out to my homeboy, Coach Kyle. I know he likes to use that, term a lot, but I legitimately thought she was Italian, and she just goes apeshit. She's just like, "What? How'd you guess that? Nobody's ever guessed that in my life." She's like, "I'm half Italian." My sister, she's over there. She's full-blooded Italian. And like I said before, is that this is pivotal in game because if you do good game, the woman should want to invite you to her friends. Because now you are a source of value. You are adding value, and she wants to make you a part of her night being good and potentially even better. So, what exactly is game? Game doesn't just apply to women, it applies all of life, it applies of business. So understand, if you start a business, how you're going to thrive in the business is that you understand the market, you understand the market's needs, and you speak the market's language. You know what I'm saying? If you are I just watched a show with my parents, the other day. They're just like, "Hey, come over and watch the show with us." I drive to their house, or just like it's a show on, foot surgeons. You know what I'm saying? And a foot surgeon has to identify the pain of the people whose feet are in peril. You know what I'm saying? So same exact thing with dealing with anything in life. You know what I mean? It's about just knowing how to identify people and how to identify certain symptoms to be able to effectively speak the market's language, right? And that's what I did with this girl. "Hey, are you Italian?" "Oh my God, yeah, I'm Italian. My sister's over there." You know what I'm saying? So now I am introducing myself to her family. Her whole entire family was there. Her sisters and cousins and things like that. So that's very very, very pivotal because a woman's family, which is a lot of, it should be more important than her friends, but friends, family, it's the same exact thing sometimes in a lot of scenarios. But a woman has those things closely guarded. So she can't, the reason why a lot of guys get rejected is because they know damn well that if you're coming at them awkward and stuff, that their friends are going to disapprove and their friends are going to think that the girl's a low life for associating with you. But if you prove that you're hip, that you're in the know, you're part of the in crowd, that's when women invite you to their social settings and you become the guy that knows what he's doing. You're the guy that knows the game. So I'm gonna start uploading a lot of infield videos, and something that you're gonna see is quite frequent, constant characteristic trait of mine is that I'm getting physical very early and I'm establishing physicality very early because I want the woman to know that I am not just a sucker having a platonic conversation. I am a man with balls and I'm proud of my balls and I'm not going to be ashamed of the fact that I find her attractive and the fact that she turns me on. You know what I'm saying? Point blank, period. This is something I learned from Todd Valentine. Is like, don't be ashamed of the fact that this girl turns you on and she's fucking sexy. And what happens if a girl turns you on? You want to get physical. You know what I'm saying? And the whole thing about, oh, well, you should respect a woman's space and wait to get physical, take her on a date, and all this bullshit. That's what it really is bullshit because, at the end of the day, if you're having a good time and she's receptive, keep pushing for it. And that's what I'm doing, and you can see how receptive she is and how engaged she is in the conversation. So what you will actually notice in, these scenes is that, the way that she's leading in is she's actually starting to get used to my touch. She's actually looking forward to me touching her. She's actually starting to embrace it. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny too because, there was a girl that I approached earlier and she was kind of receptive, but not really. And it just doesn't matter because, one girl, just doesn't know how cool you are, right? You got some good shit going on in your life, and unless you're like painting it on your face, she doesn't know, and maybe she just doesn't want to know, and that's fine. What I'm saying? This girl that I approached before, she talked to me, but she just wasn't giving me that same reaction. So I just moved on, and I found another girl, and this girl is extremely receptive to me. So never get discouraged, because there's always a girl that's out there that's going to match your vibe. And here's the thing, like, this girl was like the only girl that was my type in the club. Out of all the girls, there were some girls that were decent, but I just wasn't feeling any other girl. You know what I'm saying? And don't be confused by a lot of dating coaches or pickup artists that say just go into a club and just go on a rampage. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know what I mean? Not saying it doesn't work at all, because I've definitely done it and I definitely do it. But sometimes you might go into a bar in a club and there might only be one girl who's your type. Just like my previous infield. That was the only girl in the whole entire venue that was my type. So, just be patient and know that it's going to come. Okay, I want to say that concludes the video. Unfortunately, the battery ran out in my camera. Man, I had such great footage after this, but this is when the battery ran out, and I had a really pivotal moment to where the family came back and I won over the family. But I ended up getting this girl's phone number. I could have probably escalated more, but this was around the time to where the bar was like closing, the club was closing and shit. So I couldn't really, what I'm saying, utilize all the weapons I wanted to use. But here's a quick little tip that I wanted to throw in there is that I actually saw this girl at the club a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago to the exact day. And what was interesting about it is that, come to find out, she's from Germantown. So that's about a 2 hour drive from where I'm at in Appleton. And there's nothing much to do in Germantown. That's why people travel up from different areas to come to Appleton, because that's where all the clubs and the college areas are at, right? So what was interesting, a couple weeks ago, she was the freaking girl I wanted to get at. But there was a guy that I knew from my past who was all honoring and shit like that, and he had it locked up already. They already, were kissing multiple times on the dance floor and shit like that. And, obviously she's a bad bitch, what I'm saying? So he had a good taste in women, and she had a fat ass. And I think at that time, none of her family was there. And I was surprised he didn't try to pull her because I believe she was just there with one of her friends and then like her friend's boyfriend. So I had a lot more difficult task, but he could have easily pulled her. You know what I'm saying? Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because essentially, I even talk about it in my other infield video, is that you don't need to win every battle. And how I was able to be able to get so physical with this girl is because I observed her a couple weeks before. You know what I'm saying? So instead of me just trying to elbow the guy that I knew, out of the way and just try to go for her, I just kind of, stood by and I actually engaged in the group that we were all a part of because I had friends there, she had friends there. So we were kind of connected, but not really connected. And I just kind of observed her personality. I observed that she liked to have fun, that she was kind of wild, sporadic, and she was kind of like all over the place with her energy. That way, when I approached her, I was able to mimic some characteristics that she found attractive, and some characteristics that she found attractive in the other guy. So this is why I say that game is as much of a detective venture that it actually is a pickup artist venture, because what you're doing is you're sitting back and you're gathering data and you're gathering all this information to be able to put together the best possible action that you can do to get a result. So I ended up getting this girl's number and stuff like that. That was on the video that ended up dying off. But I will definitely make sure from now on I'm gonna have a few different cameras, or one extremely charged camera to the max, so I don't lose out on all this great footage. But this is Salamanca. I will see you in the next video. Mask up.